Alrighty, we are back. This is so random, but I decided I wanted to stream a little before my laundry gets finished. So we have about 50 minutes, 50 minutes. So I thought we could play something completely different and completely random. It's Castle of Shikigami, the very first game actually. Um, even though the the volume, the sound. Oh God. Oh no. Okay. Oh no, 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 no. Okay. Even though the sound doesn't seem to be working on my end, I am going to turn it down a bit. And I don't even know if the stream is working, because what the heck is going on here? Uh, I don't understand. Why were they like highlighted in green? That's very... Why? What? Did I do something? I'm not really sure what's going on. Oh gosh. Okay, there we go. Um, a long time ago, probably like 2005, 2005 to probably 2010 or so, I was really into shmup games, shoot 'em ups, as they might be known. Um, Also space shooters. Some people say that. Old school shooters. Usually that's what you think of when... Well, that's what I think of when I hear old school shooter. I don't think stuff like Doom or Wolfenstein 3D. I think of stuff like 1942 and Gradius and Raiden. I always forget how that's supposed to be pronounced. It's very confusing because it should be Raiden, but in Mortal Kombat his name is Raiden. So it's very... I'm not really sure which one it is. So, anyways, I think it's... For some reason, I think it's called Raiden, or maybe I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say Raiden actually, because that sounds better. I'm kind of mad that people say Raiden and Gaiden, like Resident Evil Gaiden and Ninja Gaiden. It's just... Ugh, it makes me cringe. Um, I used to be okay at these games. Specifically, I really enjoyed the bullet hell shmups. Stuff like Toho and Ikaruga. Ikaruga is a little more on the mellow side of the bullet hell range, I think. But the one that really, really stuck with me was Castle of Shikigami 3 on the Nintendo Wii. I love that game. It's not past tense. I still have it, and I love it to death. I adore it. I may have gotten a little lost along the way. Okay, I hate this. I don't know which one is highlighted. Is the no highlighted or is the yes highlighted? I'm gonna assume this is yes. Okay, it's not. Wow, that's annoying. So I really loved uh, Castle of Shikigami 3, and it got me to... I think that was actually my first legitimate bullet hell game. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was. Because after I got that, I also got... Like, that led into me getting Mobile Light Force 2, which was actually the first Castle of Shikigami rebranded for PS2. And then I got Castle of Shikigami 2 on PS2. I also picked up stuff like Esp Galuda 2, I think, and Psycho Break, or I think it's Psycho something. Psycho Break, I think, is what The Evil Within is called in Japan. But I thought there was a game. It's a bullet hell shmup that is, um, uh, I swear it has like Psycho in the title. Um, But I never got to play those games because they were on the foreign consoles, or like the foreign regions of the disc, instead of NTSC whatever US is, it was NTSC whatever Japan is. That's what they both were. Oh, okay. I think the glowy thing is actually intentional. It means you're safe, and then when it glows red, it means you are close to a bullet, and your attacks are being. Wow, what the hell? I did not know those were homing. Um, and it. Wow. We're not gonna talk about that. Okay, so this would be yes. All right, good. Um, I think it's supposed to be an indicator of. Oh my god. I think it's. Oh yeah, that's right. You can go faster when you are not holding it down. I think it's supposed to be an indicator for when a bullet is close enough to you to get that damage bonus. I think that's how it works. I'm not really sure why Castle Shikigami 3 was like the game for me, in terms of these kinds of games. I'm not really sure. His health isn't going down. Oh, now it is. Um, I'm not really sure objectively why it's a great game. I just know that it's the first one I played, and I thought it was pretty solid. I really enjoyed the secret options, or not secret options, but like the options it had, which are pretty standard, I think. Stuff like bullet size and game speed and bullet speed, all that kind of stuff. It was fun to kind of tinker around with that stuff. And I also the story sections, like the chatting characters and stuff, it's so charmingly horrible. I remember. I really loved the horrible English, the broken English in it, um, and that kind of added to its charm, I think. But let's see, what else? What else can we say? You're the psycho serial killer, aren't you? You disgust me. Enemy of evil. I'm pretty sure this game has the same charming broken English, and I like that. Although so far it has not. Oh, I thought I died. Okay. So far it does not seem to be the case as much. I hope they release Castle Shikigami 3 on Steam, but I'm not holding my breath. I don't think this game did so well, but I'm not 100% sure. Um, let's see, what other games did I get into? Ikaruga, I'm not sure if that came before or after Castle Shikigami 3 for me. I'm sure one of my friends could probably verify that, because he was into these kinds of games too. Um, I really, I really love Ikaruga. That might be my favorite shooter overall. Um, but Castle of Shikigami 3 is probably my favorite, like, bullet hell, like, true bullet hell shooter. I also played stuff like Mushi Hime Sama, Futari, I think, and. Or maybe it was just Mushi Hime Sama. Dodon Pachi Resurrection, or Dodon Pachi. There was a Dodon Pachi on the iPhone. I think there was an Espgaluda on the iPhone as well. And there was like a Mushi Hime Sama Bug Princess game. Actually, I think Mushi Hime Sama literally means Bug Princess. I thought I heard that. Um, it wasn't like a bullet hell shooter though. It was more. I don't really remember actually, but it was fun for what it was. But it was definitely, it left a lot to be desired for people that actually wanted a true bullet hell game, and that's when Cave really delivered. They really delivered after that. They released Escaluda and Dodonpachi, and I think even the proper Mushihime Sama. I also played a lot of the Toho games. There's so many of them, I couldn't tell you which one I played, but I enjoyed those. They're very tight games. Um, for being like freeware, they're pretty dang good. I hope they're freeware at least, because that's how I got them was free, and I didn't see anywhere to purchase them. So I also um, those are probably that's probably the extent of the bullet hell games I got back in the day. Um, and Ketsui Death Label or Black Label Death. I always get this wrong. There was a DS game. It was made by I think it was made by Cave, but it was published by Arika Games, I think. I had to import it. Um, but it's a Japanese game, bullet hell. It's Ketsui something label. It's whatever label it is that is like just straight up boss battles. That's all the game is just boss battles. There are like tiny, tiny sections that you play before the boss battles, but generally speaking, it's just a boss rush basically. And I love that game too. I played a lot of that during high school. I would pop it out in the library and just play that all free period. I really enjoyed it, and I love the replay feature because you could watch your replay, and I could show off to like my mom and everyone how great I was at it. Because I used to be really good at these, honestly. Um, I have apparently lost um, some of that skill, um, but that's to be expected, I guess. I used to play them pretty religiously, and now it's more just like, oh, there's a new one on Steam. I'll play it for like 10 minutes. It's fun, but I don't get obsessed with them like I used to. I used to like really focus on the bullet patterns, and um, that's kind of necessary for those kinds of games. Um, and while I have a respect for regular shmups, stuff like 1942 and Raiden, um, I I don't enjoy them as much as Bullet Hell. Um, that might just be the ADD American in me, but I just don't find stuff like 1942 all that enjoyable and satisfying. I also am very partial to vertically scrolling shooters. Side-scrolling ones, for some reason, I cannot play them. Um, oh, I just thought of another one I really enjoyed back in the day. Triggerheart Excelica was on the Xbox Live Arcade. I loved that game too. Pretty much any bullet hell game I've played, I have enjoyed substantially. Um, I don't think I've played a bad one in the bunch. I have played a lot of bad shmups though. Most recently, I played one called Dragonia, which was just, oh man. Since like 2009, 2010, I think, I'm not sure. The worst game, the game I considered the worst game I've ever played was Leisure Suit Larry Box Office Bust. Um, but that all changed this summer when I decided to try out a game called Dragonia, which I'll admit it's a pretty smutty kind of shooter. Um, there's a lot of hentai in it apparently, and I thought it looked fun. I really did. Um, I'm not one to buy games just because of the smut value. I want to play games that I enjoy and have fun with. Dragonia was not nearly as fun as it looked, and it's the reason I bring up Box Office Bust is because Dragonia is now the worst game I've ever played. Ever. Like, in the history of any game ever in my life that I have played, it is absolutely the worst. It's just horrible. The animations are terrible. The shooting feels horrible. The objectives are so dumb. It's like you have to shoot like 200 dragons in a level, and then you get to fight the boss or something. And then um, it's like they spawn randomly, and there's nothing exciting going on in the level. It's more like an arena kind of shooter, but there's not nearly anything. There's nothing um, exciting or interesting enough to hold your attention during the battle. It's just shooting at these terribly drawn little dragon sprites, with a character who has uh, just, I swear, like three different frames of animation. Like when you when you look at this guy, something Hataraga Tugiyaga or something. Sorry, I hope that's not insensitive. I don't remember his name, but it sounded a little like that, I think. This guy, see, when he moves, he has like, I don't know, it's like 6 frames of animation, I'd say. In Dragonia, I feel like she should have like 12 frames of animation since it's actually you fly around in a circle. It's like a twin stick shooter more than a shmup. And it's awful. It's just so bad. And the story is terrible. The broken English is so bad that it's almost not even funny. Like it's more just pathetic. The translation is awful. The like the smutty elements are like smutty, I guess. I know it's something obvious, but it's terrible. The one thing I can say is that everything the like the parts where it shows the characters like talking, um, those are drawn pretty well. I think that's pretty well drawn. And then some of the backgrounds in those sections are actually really good. The rest of the game is horrible, though. It's only $2, I think, on Steam. I would advise not like buying it ever. But if you ever want to play what I consider the worst game ever, you just go ahead and buy Dragonia on Steam. So back on my partiality towards vertical shooters, I've played stuff like Gradius and Death Smiles and R-Type. I've played those kinds of games. They're horizontal shooters. Um, and I don't know why. I just have a preference for the vertical ones. Whenever I'm able to, I like to uh, orient the screen vertically in those horizontal shooters, but the problem is usually that's for people that have a screen that's vertical or they can move it vertically, so they don't really account for people that want to play the game vertically. I'm confusing myself, but it's just I don't know. I've always liked the vertical stuff more for some reason. Um, I don't like the feel of horizontal ones so much. But I still respect them. I still respect stuff like Gradius and R-Type. Um, I prefer vertical. And then in terms of vertical stuff I enjoy, I prefer the bullet hell stuff. Um, Steam is starting to get a good chunk of bullet hell shmups. They have stuff like Death Smiles and Mushihime-sama, Dodonpachi Resurrection. I don't think this is Cave. Oh, I don't think I even stated Cave Games, so never mind. Cave is a very prolific developer in the bullet hell shmup scene. I think they've done some other games, but at least for me, the only thing I really recognize them for is their bullet hell shmups. Um, that's just kind of who they are, you know, like Treasure. They've made a ton of games, but you know what most people know them for is, I honestly don't know if a lot of people even know Treasure, but uh, I know them for stuff like Ikaruga and Sin and Punishment, and Gunstar Heroes. Some people might know them for McDonald's Treasureland Adventure or Astro Boy Omega Factor, um, which I am fine with. But what I'm trying to get at is that every developer has several different games, I think. Maybe not every developer. There are some that probably do exclusively certain things. I don't know, actually. I can't think of one. Well, Square Enix, I think they develop exclusively RPGs, but they publish a lot of different stuff. Um, I'm honestly not sure. Um, Something I enjoy with these games is the hitbox. Um, that thing that's flashing in my back, that's my hitbox. So if you watch a video of these games and you're like, holy shit, how is he dodging those bullets? It's because the hitbox is so small on you. Oh wow, this part's kind of cool until you die. The hitbox is so tiny compared to your sprite, your like character on screen. Um, and that's one of the most satisfying things is being able to go through a whole screen covered like pixel to pixel in bullets, but be able to kind of focus yourself, focus your hitbox on one tiny pixel. Out of all the pixels on the screen, there's one little tiny pixel left, and that is your hitbox. And I haven't experienced that since my heyday, but it is one of the greatest feelings I've had in a video game. It's the most like adrenaline pumping and satisfying thing for me. And again, I haven't experienced that in so long, but it was amazing. Um, like this screen doesn't come close to stuff like Mushihime Sama. Um, it's just insane. I love it. It feels so good. Um, Ikaruga, though, that is not a proper bullet hell game, I don't think, but it has a lot of interesting mechanics. Mostly the polarity mechanics. That's what it's really known for is the polarity. Um, Through the levels, you have black and white ships shooting at you, black ships and white ships, and you can change the polarity of your ship to absorb the bullets that they shoot. They shoot bullets that are their own color. Um, and if you are, say, in the white polarity and you're shooting at a white ship, you will absorb all of the white bullets. But the black bullets will still hit you and hurt you. But if you switch to black, you'll absorb the black bullets, but then the white ones will hit you. Um, but then there's kind of a risk reward thing there where you can continue to absorb those bullets, or you can change to the opposite polarity of that ship and they'll go down, I think, probably like 2 times faster. Like you do more damage if you're the opposite polarity and shooting at that ship. So it's a real kind of risk reward system. You can be lazy and not worry about the bullets hitting you, or you can avoid the bullets and get these enemies down quickly. And getting them down quickly is actually necessary if you want to net a high score. Um, because a high score requires you to kill 3 enemies of a color per like tick. Like you have to shoot 3 ships, then 3 black ships, 3 white ships, then 3 black ships, then 3 white ships, and you can mix it up. You can do 3 black ships, 3 black ships, but it always has to be in threes. And the more you focus on that, the higher your combo gets, which multiplies your points. It's a surprisingly deep kind of it's a surprisingly deep kind of scoring system, um, which is something I am not really aware of in too many other shooters. That's one of the reasons I love that game. Another one is I love the graphics. I love the polarity system, and one of the best things about that game for me, whatever I remember, is the music. The music is so insanely good. I love it. And Also, for a lot of shooters like these, um, I feel like you don't really get the sense that you're progressing through an ever expanding threat throughout the game. You'll have, like, you'll fight level 1 will feel the same as level 2. Maybe the enemies will be a little bigger. Um, Maybe they'll shoot more. Whatever. I don't know. It'll be harder, sure, as the game goes on, but I never really feel like the levels are too different. Like the levels themselves, in terms of like severity or scope. But with Ikaruga, um, you really do feel this like this scope widening throughout the game until you reach the finale. And it's like if you took a video of the final level of, say, Trigger Heart Excelica or the final level of Castle of Shikigami 3, if you took a video of those final levels, I'm sure people would not recognize that that is the final level. Like, you would have to explain, oh yeah, this is the last level of the game. But with Ikaruga, the last level is so clear. Like, you absolutely guaranteed will know it's the last level. It just has that sense of um, that sense of scope and sense of finality. Um, it's really cool. That's another thing I really like about that game. Um, it's really cool, and the music's amazing. Like I said, um, I'm wondering if the Steam version comes with a soundtrack or if you can buy it or something, because I would not mind that at all. It's seriously amazing. But anyways, as you can see, me talking not really good for my gameplay here. Doing pretty horribly, but whatever, you know. I don't know. Um, so far, would I recommend buying this game over something like Dodonpachi or Mushihime-sama? Um, I don't know. I think it's a little cheaper than those two. Like, I think Dodonpachi is like $30. But Dodonpachi, from what I played, um, feels a lot more solid than this. This one feels pretty cheap. Um, but it's still good. Like, if you're itching for a bullet hell game that you can afford, I think this one is like $15. I'm not 100% sure, but it should be cheaper than those others. And in that sense, it's worth it. But I think there are better ones out there, especially if they get the third game out in there, Castle Shikigami 3. That would be awesome. So, if you are listening, please, Axis or whoever ported this. They did Castle Shikigami 3 on the Wii. But whoever ported this one, port the third one too, please, cuz I need it. I need it right now. Please. Something I don't like about this game too is these cutscenes. The characters are cut off. Like their bodies are literally cut by like a third because of the way the screen is or something. I don't even know why that happens. Oh boy, that was tough. Okay. um, you know what other game they need to port to Steam? Bangayo. That was another treasure game. I played the original one a little bit, um, but I mostly played Bangayo Spirits on the DS. Um, and that one's really fun. That one's I think I had more fun with the DS one than the original. Um, but either way, one of those, or maybe a 2-pack, needs to come to Steam because those are fun. They're not bullet hell games. They're just kind of action shooters, from what I remember. They're more in line with Gunstar Heroes than something like Ikaruga or Radiant Silvergun. Um, but they're solid. They're very solid games. Treasure is a solid developer. I'm not personally a huge fan of Gunstar Heroes, but I understand it. I understand why a lot of people enjoy it. I personally did not like it. Um, and Radiant Silvergun was actually a really big disappointment because before Radiant Silvergun came to the Xbox Live Arcade, I'm pretty sure the only way you could play it was on the Sega Saturn. Um, and it was super expensive, as could be expected from that kind of game. Um, so I obviously didn't play it, but I had always heard that, oh, Ikaruga is the spiritual sequel to Radiant Silvergun. Um, and this made me really want the game. So when I finally got it on Xbox Live Arcade, I was so excited and then so disappointed because I didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't all that fun for me. Um, but the mechanics, it had some interesting mechanics though. I did enjoy that. But I don't know, after playing Ikaruga for so long and then finally getting my hands on this highly anticipated game that before I would never even dream of playing, um, you have to understand it was just such a disappointment. Um, I'm sure nowadays I'd enjoy it a little more, but I think honestly the hype killed it for me. And it's not just the hype of everyone else. It was my own hype. My own hype is what I'm talking about. It just wasn't. It did not live up to the insanely high expectations that I pressed upon it. So it's to be expected. Uh, no pun intended. So, anyways, yeah, there you go. And I'm really sorry if it seems like I'm ignoring the chat. I am, because I actually can't see the chat because it's on my phone, which is in the room charging for when I do my Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 gameplay later tonight, probably. Um, because last night it died midstream, so I want to make sure it gets Kotaru Kuga. See, I wasn't that far off. I said like Kuga Hari Tagawagi or something. Like I wasn't too far off. I want to make sure that it doesn't die during that stream because that's a more major stream for me. I don't know why I'm saying it's a major stream. It's not like anyone is watching any of these streams, but I feel like the Tony Hawk Marathon is kind of like my crowning achievement in life, and I must complete it. And this is just a random stream of just something that I don't know, it's a short thing, and it seems like it's gonna be completed about the same time I get my laundry finished. Um, Something a little odd about the laundry, which you don't care about, but I do. Um, the washing machine, when I got my clothes out, I noticed there were still some soap suds going on the like the door, where usually it's all rinsed down, like the machine rinses it all down. But not so now. There were suds on there, and I was thinking, okay, that's odd, but maybe it's just the front, or maybe it's just it forgot to rinse the door. I don't know. I don't know how these things work. So I was like, okay, let's see. And I pick up my clothes, some of them, and they are just drenched. I mean, like super drenched. Drenched more than I've ever seen them drenched before. Like, I know they're supposed to be wet, okay? I know they're supposed to be wet when you take them out of the washer. The washer is, after all, not a dryer. But usually they are a little better than this. Like they're a little drier. Um, it's not like you can wring it out and then wring out an entire cup of water. You could probably wring it out and wring out like maybe like I don't even know, not a cup of water. Like a fifth or a sixth of a cup of water. So they were absolutely drenched. I don't know what happened, and some of them did have suds on them still. But I'm still putting them in the dryer, hoping it's not a big deal. But the problem with this dryer is that it doesn't really dry much. I usually put it on low temp, but I put it on for like 12 more minutes than is necessary. So I feel like that should level it out, but they're always a little wet. But today I put it in for medium heat and 84 minutes, so hopefully that'll be enough. But then I worry that some of my clothes will. Oh my god, sorry. Okay, that's another thing I like about these games is if you can get into a groove, it feels so amazing. Um, and I felt like I was in sort of more of a groove in that segment than I have been the rest of this time. Um, so I don't know. I don't know what to think. I put it in there for 84 minutes instead of 72, and I put it in there on medium heat instead of low heat. I'm hoping that that fixes the issue and makes them dry, but I also worry that my clothes might shrink because some of them actually do say like low heat, low cold stuff. I just I feel like I actually literally just told you the same story twice in a row. Um, and that's okay, you know? That's okay because for you, you might have been watching from the first time I told the story. But guess what? Not everybody has. So maybe someone joined right before I started the second telling of the story. And then they're like, wow, I didn't know any of that. And then Bob's your sister's mom, or your mom's sister, or your mom's brother. I guess, no, let's not be sexist. Bob, there can be a female Bob. Of course. There's always. I mean, who else who thinks a bob weave is a male haircut? Like obviously that's a female one, right? I think. No, it's not. No. What am I talking about? I'm thinking of the beehive, I think. What does a bob cut look like? Not a bobcat, although that would be a really funny Photoshop. Like a little bobcat with a bob cut. Oh man. If someone could Photoshop that for me, you would be like my hero for a day. And that is a prestigious position to be in. I um I have been watching the Tony Hawk playthroughs a little bit, like skipping around the ones I did already, and I noticed that I tend to do a lot of verbal pauses, like that, and like and I still do that a lot. I'm going to try to work on that, but if it's not like a problem for everyone, I don't think I need to work too hard on it. But I think when like my favorite YouTubers, they don't really do that. And I feel like they're pretty successful and they know what they're doing. So for them to not do verbal pauses, I think is a sign that they're not great for me. Um, just like that. Uh, God damn it. Okay. So yeah, I do a lot of verbal pauses, and I'm sorry for that. I do know that that's going on, but hopefully you can forgive me. I'm very new at this. I mean, I have a YouTube channel, but before the Tony Hawk marathons, I hadn't uploaded in over 6 months, and then before that was like 2 years, I think. Poor subscribers, though. I really appreciate their subscriptions to me, but I feel really bad. I feel like I let them all down, you know? Oh my gosh. These kinds of segments are mesmerizing in this kind of game, too. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah, I think that was the finale. Let's see. Yeah? No? Is this like an ending? Oh my god. Okay. Oh wow. Okay, this has to be like the final battle, I hope. It's going on a little longer than I thought. Um, Something I love about Ketsui Death Label or whatever label, is the fact that it's mostly bosses. Uh, and I just like that a lot because the levels in between the bosses, they kind of, I don't know, like when someone goes to the movie theater, they're not going for the trailers, they're going for the movie. And I think that's kind of what I like about Ketsui Death Label is it takes away, like when you play a bullet hell shmup, you're not playing for the little minions in between all the bosses. You're playing for the bosses. You're playing for these epic showers of bullets and just, oh, you're playing for that. You're not playing for the piddly ass little minions. Um, and at least I don't. I think the bosses are the best parts to bullet hell shmups. That's where you get the most patterns. That's where you get the most interesting patterns. That's where you get the most screen covering bullet patterns. Um, I prefer those. I think. Um, One of these bullet hell shmups. Don't tell me that was it. That was not it. What? That was it? Oh my god, that's awful. That was the most anticlimactic final boss battle I've played in a long time. I guess we'll watch this ending. If this is the ending. Yep, well, that's it. That's the end of Castle Shikigami. At least that's the end of his story, Kuga's. Um, so they didn't translate these credits into English, huh? Alright, well, I took one semester of Japanese. I'm sure I could translate all this. Um, I actually am not nearly as good at the katakana and hiragana anymore. I used to be a lot better at it. Um, oh man, I'm sorry. I can't. I need to brush up on that, honestly. I've been meaning to get back into Japanese, but um, I just haven't done it. I don't know why. All right, but that is it. I got an achievement. Kohtaru Kuga normal, I think. Uh, let's see. Okay. Alright, that's pretty cool. Uh-oh. I don't think I got even close to these scores. Yep. Didn't even get close. Oh, hold on. I think these are... I think these are like internet rankings, like worldwide, like actual people did them. I'm not used to seeing those. Um, Usually you see the rankings of like the developers. Huh. So that's all you get, huh? You don't get your own leaderboard position or anything? It's oh, nope. Oh wait, okay, I'm switching characters. Okay. No. Apparently you can't see your actual leaderboard position unless you're in the top 10. And I know that there are only probably like 10 people playing the game, but well, 11 evidently since I'm not in the top 10. But that's still kind of I don't like that. I don't like that at all, actually. That's too bad. Oh, here are the translated credits, I think. Maybe. Those might just be the publisher, though. Not really sure. Oh, what's this? New, nothing, classic. Let's see what this is all about. And I'm not sure why she's red. That's... Whoa, you can like change their colors? Or costumes to be less racist? Oh, neat. I definitely prefer this one because that's how he looks in Castle of Shikigami 3. I feel like Shikigami no Shiro is better on the tongue than Castle of Shikigami for some reason. This guy is cool. I don't know what he does, but he always looks really cool. Anyways, I guess I'm just killing time for no reason. There I go again. Alright, well, I think that will be it. So, I just saw the chat. Oh wow, just in time actually. My alarm went off. Samuel Love 514 says no Tony Hawk. Boo! We want Tony Hawk. I'm sorry, Samuel. You're gonna have to wait just a little longer. Don't worry, okay, buddy? It'll happen. Alright, well, anyways, I will see you all pretty soon, hopefully, for Tony Hawk 4. I might do it tomorrow, I don't know. But, anyways, alright, see you soon.